Dr. Sanjay Dutt Roy, Dr. J.P. Singh, Dr. Avdesh Kumar Sharma, Dr. Shankar Ashish Dutt, Dr. Ashok Kumar Sinha, Dr. Bhagwan Singh, Dr. Ashok Kumar Singh ji. He has produced many professors. And Dr. Shamir Kumar Sharma ji, Bhagat Singh ji. Now there are many names I am forgetting, so please forgive me, sorry. And distinguished participants. I feel proud and privileged that I have been given the opportunity to participate in this function, to pay respect and tribute to Dr. R.K. Sinha, who was a legendary person in his honest trend of life, and we are gathered here to remember him for his contribution, especially in English literature. And he produced many professors, those who are sitting here, who are not present. So that way, and many things have been said about him. So I would like to repeat those things. Just I had to read some pages and then I have to come to extempore. I will come with you. And as you know, I am also a student of BN College, Patna University, and I am alma mater. I graduated from BN College, then did my masters, both in sociology, in English, then PhD and did it all from Patna University. Patna University celebrated its centenary year in 2017, and Dr. R.K. Sinha would have also celebrated his centenary year as he was born in 1917, the year when Patna University was established. To mark the memory of Dr. R.K. Sinha is a very inspiring occasion. Dr. R.K. Sinha, member of the committee and Department of English, Patna University, deserve thanks for organizing lectures in the memory of this great teacher who actively taught for more than 40 years and remained a teacher till last breath of his life. He did not hanker after anything else, and always he will remain a teacher. I pay my sincere tribute to him and salute him on this occasion. And many things have been said, I don't want to repeat. Just to remember him on his 16th Punyatithi, although he is not with us physically, it is spiritually, he is with us in our heart and mind. And we remember his fearless qualities as voracious leader, extraordinary teacher, powerful speaker, erudite scholar, untiring researcher, and compassionate human being. We feel highly inspired and I hope he will continue to inspire the coming generations for years to come. He had such a tremendous capacity of analyzing a text that he put the positive and negative aspects of it before the students. He saw the text in its totality. His popularity can be gauged from the fact that the students and teachers of other departments frequently attended his lectures, which continued for more than 3 hours. The greatest tribute to him would be emulate his style of studying teaching and doing research work. That Sinha was taught by two British professors in the 1930s, namely Professor Arbour and Professor Hill. He was the topper of his MA batch, was admitted to the DPhil course at Christ Church in Oxford University. His supervisor, Lord David Cecil, was a noted critic and authority on Victorian novels. Dr. Sinha completed his thesis entitled Literary Influences on D.H. Lawrence in 1950. And so what he said 1949. 49. Had his thesis been published, that would have been the first work on Lawrence. And Van Leeuwen's work could have been the next. However, in the centenary year of Lawrence, that is in 1985, Dr. Sinha's thesis was published by Chanakya Publication, New Delhi, owned by Dr. Bindeshwar, the first research scholar of Dr. Sinha. But I have been told that Chanakya Publication has been closed due to the sad demise of Dr. Jha. Therefore, Dr. Sinha's book is out of print. I shall be happy to get this monumental work published by some reputed publisher in future. Friends, Dr. Sinha's work in Lawrence is really praiseworthy, as in the 20th century England had no greater writer than Lawrence to show the world, because Ezra Pound and T.S. Eliot were Americans. W.B. Yeats, James Joyce and G.V. Shaw were Irish. Lawrence's philosophy is both temporal as well as timeless. It deals with the theme of personal relationships between man and woman. Today, the world is passing through a phase of crisis in personal relations. To overcome the crisis, one should study the novels, poems, short stories, letters, and essays of Lawrence. In Sons and Lovers, he shows how marriage becomes a hopeless failure for want of readjustment of healthy sex. Although the theme of the relation between man and woman is old, yet in the writings of Lawrence it has become new. Lawrence realized that the wrong was with the civilization that put too much value on mind and too little on heart. So he lays overemphasis on blood and flesh. Dickens and Hardy have also put premium on heart, but Lawrence's analysis is much deeper and more frank. The famous lines of Lady Chatterley's lover sums up the whole idea. It is the way our sympathy flows and requires that really determines our lives. The modern novel is predominantly psychological. It was in the early years of the 20th century that Freud and Jung shook the foundation of human thought. They revealed that human consciousness has very deep layers and buried under conscious, subconscious and the subconscious. Novelists like Henry James, Joseph Conrad, James Joyce, Virginia Woolf have made the English novel completely psychological in nature. Novels of D.H. Lawrence were The White Peacock, The Sons and Lovers, The Rainbow, The Women in Love, Kangaroo, The Lady Chatterley's Lover, etc. His philosophy, he said, this is under quote, that my great religion is a belief in the blood, the flesh, as being wiser than intellect. We can go wrong in our minds, but what our blood feels and believes and says is always true. The intellect is only a bit and a predator. What do I care about? Knowledge. All I want is to answer to my blood direct without fueling intervention of mind or moral or what not. I conceive a man's body as kind of flame, like a candle, forever upright and it flowing, and the intellect is just the light that is set is on the things around. Unquote. In Lady Chatterjee Lover, he says, unquote, I want men and women to be able to think sex fully, completely, honestly, and clearly. While remembering Dr. Sinha on his 16th Punyatithi and realizing the importance of Lawrence philosophy, I will make an appeal to the Department of English, Patna University, to organize international seminar on Lawrence and other writers whose philosophy is highly needed by humanity these days. I shall be happier if literary influences on D.H. Lawrence is also published next year on the occasion of Dr. Sinha's 17th Punyatithi. Dr. K. Sinha Chair should also be established in the Department of English as Honorable Vice Chancellor was saying. We will happy to help the chair if needed by the university financially. Friends, literature in general and English literature in particular has always been instrumental in reforming and reconstructing society. Starting from Chaucer and Langland through Swift and Dickens down to Gosworthy and Bernard Shaw, all writers use their writings as a tool for social reconstruction. I am also in my humble way working for social reconstruction, drawing inspiration for my study of literature. For me, is a powerhouse. Literature for me is the powerhouse of diverse sorts of ideas. We can apply these ideas creatively into transforming and reconstructing society based on the principles of equality and liberty as well as empowerment and upward social movement. Let us therefore use our study of literature for enhancing the quality of life of people and making the world more lovely and homogeneous. Today, research journal approaches and a Geddon shift in honor of Dr. R.C. Prasad entitled Literary Waves have been released. The commemorative volume in honor of Dr. R.K. Sinha was published 10 years back. A commemorative volume in honor of Dr. R.P. Vidyarthi is in progress. I hope this will also be published very soon. Dr. Sambir Sri Kumar Sharma and Dr. Gunjan, along with other scholars, are endeavoring in this direction. I am sure the endeavors will bear fruits. Before I conclude, I'd just like to go back on. As depicted in the famous play, The Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw, who transformed the Cockney-speaking flower girl, Elijah, into the high society English lady. This is very important for social reconstruction. And here I come on the subject. Before that, I was engrossed. I was engrossed to hear the lecture of Dr. Damodar Thakur, and I wanted to hear more from him. Certainly we are getting light, And this is very important, what is said. Cleanliness outside is important, but more cleanliness needed inside. And this is true. If you are not clean inside, it cannot make difference in the lives of others. It cannot become a change makers. So this is very important, that if you are a change maker, you are making difference in the lives of others, it means you have clean mind. Otherwise you cannot work for others. So this is very important what he said. He said many things I cannot repeat here, but certainly very good things he did. Now I come back to just what we did. I have transformed the lives of untouchables, like this Elijah, like this Elijah girl. So that is very important. That even Gandhi had not thought that this may be possible in India. Untouchables who were cleaning human feces. We'll talk about Dickens and later on. So, what I did, first I made invention and discoveries to find out the solution of the problem. Gandhi himself said, till they clean night soil, nobody will have food with them. In 1934, Gandhi asked people to come to have dinner in Bindeshwar. People came, but at the time of dinner they said, Gandhi, I cannot eat with them. So Gandhi has written there that Indians can face the bullets of the British, but unable to eat with untouchables. It is so hard. But Gandhi himself said, till they clean night soil, nobody will have food with them. And he enforced it in 1935 while writing the preface of a novel by Dr. Mulkraj Anand. He wrote that no God is required to rescue the untouchables, only the flush toilets. And that he said in 1935. And that the technology I invented in 1968-69. You are all from Bihar, must be knowing. So this is the two-pit toilet. It's just to see when one is used at a time, other kept standby as a manual or whenever required. So this is a Satsaya ke dore और नावक के तीर देखन में चोट लगे तो हाउ करे गंभीर. That Mr. Ali Singh, the retired IAS officer, he was secretary at that time. He is here. So this is a human skater in my hand, and I smell for you. It also smell. Human skater cannot be taken in the hand to smell, but in a different form. So, what was important? Had not I invented this technology, even today, there is no chance of ending the practice of manual cleaning of human feces by untouchables and defecation in the open. But the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, has set that target for 2019. So this technology is changing. Because of this, now the untouchables are not required to clean toilets. The technology of sewer system cannot solve the problems, as the technology is very costly in construction, maintenance, requires enormous quantity of water to flush. And therefore, 2.3 billion people on this planet from Africa, Asia, and Latin America have no toilet inside the house. And last year, I was in America and I was giving a lecture in Chamber of Commerce. And they said, why not do it in America? I said, why in America? America already we have everything. No. We have such system only in urban areas. But in rural, we have septic tanks. We have to clean and we have to spend a lot of money. So this is good technology that human data is converted into fertilizer. So this can make a difference. This can make change. The story of New York City, that New York City started settling in 1860, and they started using horse carts to ferry people from one place to another, and also the goods. So horse dung became a problem. During summer time, it used to fly, and in the winter and in the rainy season, it would choke the drains. So 1890, a seminar was organized for 7 days to find out the solution. After 3 days, it was wound up. They said no solution was coming, why to continue the seminar? By 1907, the automobiles were developed. And because the automobile was developed, therefore they started replacing the horse cars. And by 1920, all horse cars were replaced in New York because of automobiles. So in America, New York, problem of horse dung. In India, we had and we have the problem of human dung. And that problem has been solved by this small technology. So this is very important, that how first place was, how the untouchables were not required to clean the toilets. But no talk was going in detail about all these things. We should have talked a little more. But what I say, that a class of people were called untouchables. Why? Not other Sudras were called untouchables. They were impure. Because they will not do any other job. Had they got some other job, then they would have problem for disposal of human waste. And therefore we call untouchables. Had they sell vegetables, nobody will buy from their hands. So this is very important. And then the next step was to give them education and vocational skill to earn their livelihood. And when the white clean nights were, they used to earn 300 rupees. Now how much they earn? 15,020 per month. So the change of occupation, now they are economically very comfortable. The third step was Dr. Ambedkar had given 4 indicators to know that untouchability has gone or not. The first, he said, when everybody will go to temple to worship the deity, when everybody will have bath in the same pond, when everybody will draw water from same well to drink water, and they will have common dining, will eat together. And one more thing he said, the social acceptance. Unless they are socially accepted by society, untouchability cannot go. So, by this technology, 1 million untouchables have been freed from skyhanging. By Sulam alone, we have freed 2 lakh people from skyhanging. And this model of Albert talk There now they go the same house to sell papadum, noodles, pickles, and do facial to women, where they used to go and clean toilets. I've asked them to just twist the cheek of the clients. They say, why do you do like this? So they say, Madam, this was the same house. We used to come and you call untouchables, clean toilets. And what happened today? Now we allow to buy papadum, pickles from our hands, and you share tea with us, and you give your cheek to beautify. So what has happened in 12 years? So that this is the way we have changed the life. Now one step ahead I have gone. Now they are called Brahmins. Nobody could have thought that this may be possible in this country. That untouchables one day will be called Brahmins. I am sociologically background. So what I have given to society, when you can change your religion, you can be a Muslim, a Christian, or a Buddhist. Why not in the same religion you can change your caste? A couple from BBC came to meet me and they asked, oh, this is not good in your country. The caste system is very bad. By birth, one gets caste. So their son, about maybe 7 or 8 years, was playing there in my room. I asked, what is his religion? And immediately she said, oh, he's my son. So he's a Christian. I said, how is he a Christian? He is just 8 years old. He has not opted Christianity or Hinduism. How he can be Christian? So they said, oh, nobody asked this question from me. So the way you get Christianity, a religion, we get a caste. So there was confrontation between Ambedkar and Gandhi. And Ambedkar said, no, caste system should go. And Gandhi said, no, one man's thigh is right, but untouchability is wrong. Social discrimination is wrong, it should go. So what I have done? I have done synthesis, Gandhi and Ambedkar, and without any violence. I have not torn Vedas and Puranas and Smritis. Just by one step, I have done it. Che Guevara, who took independence of Cuba by violence, he came to India in 1959. And he said in a speech, to feed hungry people, one can resort to violence. But he hastened to add, oh, I don't endorse my views. I endorse the views of Gandhi of non-violence, because if the oppressed will change the oppressor will change the oppressed, and this will continue. So I endorse the views of Gandhi of non-violence. So I have changed the history of India of 5,000 years. That now untouchables are living with others, same other caste, and one ahead that we have Brahmins. So this is how, what is required in this country. You will talk only about problems, or you will try to find out the solutions of the problems. You will ask only the government to solve your problems, or you can come forward, come ahead to solve your problems. Public toilets should know what is the one we started in Patna in 1974, the Gandhi Maidan was inside. The other one, just see the photograph. कोई है पाया था कि नहीं है?
सर
है ना? कहाँ फोटो कहाँ आ गया? वो वाला wonderful वाला 500, and from next year 4 lakh people will live Delhi. So this is required by the society. You have to do something. If 4 lakh people are going there to worship deities, Vitthal Bhai, and if they go, and if they don't defecate in open, so where they will go? So what is solution are doing? So all the conferences, seminar conferences do, but you do the solutions also. Just it is the biggest in the world. The only toilet is the biggest in the world, this toilet. So that way, now from this biogas, we have produced biogas. And we are using for cooking, for lighting, converting it to energy. Because I am in Patna, you also must, not all, but some of them must have seen from Delhi Road in 83 to 90, we gave electricity for up to Sanjay Gandhi Maidan. But from that you see this is the water discharge from public toilet. What is in the hand? Water from public toilet. So society needs this one. Ask the generation which is coming forward. So that is very important, that this water contains 10 BOD. The government standard is 30 BOD. This water contains phosphorus, nitrogen and potassium. Same that fertilizer also. You use it in the field. Don't discharge anywhere. It's very costly. But if you discharge river bodies, there is no chance of pollution. So the government is asking to rectify Ganga pollution, Ganga pollution, Ganga pollution, and solution is in my hand. This is very important. But the engineers, they don't want to solve, sorry, Shankar Singh, I'm not telling you. So the engineers are not in favor of a small technology. What Dan used to say, we should have appropriate technology, affordable. Later on, Schumacher said, small is beautiful. That technologists and scientists should explore to develop small technologies suitable for the poor. It will be affordable, appropriate. But engineers will not touch it. They will talk about this sewer line. And do you know the position of sewer line? 7,935 towns we have today. And out of that, only 732 have the sewage system. And that too partially. In how many years? 148 years. The first sewer was laid in Calcutta, now this Kolkata, in 1870. So can you imagine? So by this technology, impossible to solve the problems of sanitation in India. But as usual, the last government of Dr. Manmohan Singh, Ganga Action Plan, big names were there. Oh, big committee has been formed. What happened? The committee was met in the beginning, first beginning, and second time after 5 years, when it to ending. So in 5 वर्ष में 2 बार मुलाकात हुई, एक जब फॉर्मेशन हुआ था, एक जब जा रहे थे सब. तो इतने बड़ी कमिटी में बड़े नाम, this name, and met twice. So how in 2 times you can solve the problem from Ganga? So now I don't want to go into all these things. What I say, that we have solved the problem of arsenic water in West Bengal. The West Bengal government, it was founded in 75-76, but officially it was detected 82-83. And the government of West Bengal is still trying to find out the solution, supplying water also partially, but that's not free. And we have found out this water in my hand, 50 paise per liter from pond and wells. And those who had owns, tomorrow if you come to attend this seminar, you will see the Patna hotel. By PTI they have organized this seminar. So there they will come who are infected by this arsenic water. Whole body will see, you cannot think, you can see even. So now they are being cured. And it is being supplied in all the families. Just see this arsenic, how they got affected. So this is very important. Now we will start with the Davanga. Tomorrow is the meeting here by the PTA. But that technology now can help in the entire country to solve the arsenic water problem. So you can imagine, Sulam started from Bihar. I founded in 1970. And who was the person? And who were the person? One was Chief Minister of Bihar, Daroga Prasad Rai, who said, can you imagine the visionary politician? He said, politician in my level, talking about Dr. Thakur. So that way, what he said, social programs cannot be implemented by the government or NGO alone. If they work together, then social programs can be implemented. And the other person was the Sharkar Singh, was Minister of Urban Development. He asked me to form this organization. So on their advice, I founded Sulam. One IS officer, before Aju Singh came as secretary, Rameshwar Nath, he was from Sitamarhi. And he asked me to come. I went to see him. So he asked, who are you? He started smiling, laughing. I said, sir, you asked me to come and see you. Yes, yes, I have ordered for the tea. I thought an old man with a stick in the hand and a freedom fighter will come to see me. You are nobody. Did you work with Gandhi? I said, no, sir. I was 5 years old. Gandhi was killed. Oh, yes, sir. Sit down. He said, in my whole career of IAS, or service, because of promoted IAS, so he said, I have never studied any file 7 days. But I have, you have written all these things? Okay, yes, sir. Your program, just see the vision of IAS officer. He said, your program is going to create a great impact in this country. But I see a danger in it. What is danger, sir? The danger is you are asking for the grant. You applied for 70,000 rupees? Oh, yes, sir. Department has agreed to give you 50,000 rupees. The file has come to me. But if you take this amount, who was your president of the committee you were working, Gandhi Santi Committee? Nearby the Gandhi Sangrahalaya. Sir, Governor was the ex officio, president. Who was the chairperson? Sir, Chief Minister ex officio. How much money used to ask for? Sir, 5 lakhs, sir. How much used to get? 2.5 lakhs, sir. When you used to apply? Month of April. When you used to get? Month of February. Look, a society headed by Governor Chief Minister asking for 5 lakh, getting 2.5 lakh, applying the month of April, getting February. But what you? You will take this amount, next year, Finance Department will raise many objections and you will go on replying. Again, after 2 years, you will get this amount. So my suggestion is, you take money for the implementation of the program. And out of it saved, you run the organization. And until you misuse the money, your program will continue. I said, sir, I will not misuse the money. Sir, he said, oh, I am not talking about right now. You have no money. What you can misuse? Mind changes if he gets money. So again he said, I want a guarantee from you. I was silent. Oh, I am not asking the guarantee from you about the money, bank guarantee. Can you remember your face? Yes, sir. Oh, so quickly he replied, look, I have many files to dispose of. So just see me. So twice I said, sir, it's okay. No. I have many files to dispose of. Many files, all files disposed. He said, now, can you remember me? Yes, sir. So he said, give me a promise. If you want to utilize, misuse the money of the governmental agency, you remember me once. Do you agree? Okay, yes sir, I agree with you sir. And he wrote on file that this organization should not be given grant. All the work should be allotted to the organization. This is how it started. And the first check we got, this is a long story I'm leaving now. 500 rupees I got from Ara municipality of Bihar. R.K. Mishra was the executive officer. So he signed a check of 500 rupees to build 2 toilets as a model, and he asked his head clerk to come. But they have a head clerk. Oh, if he misuses the money, what will happen? So Pathak said, sir, this boy doesn't look like this. He can direct my salary if he does so. He said, no, I go get more salary. You don't know him. I know him from before. Why you will take a guarantee? I will take guarantee. And 2 toilets I built in Ara municipal compound. Ram Vilas Singh was the chairperson at the time. He was a freedom fighter, a great lawyer of the Ara town. And when he came, he saw, he was very happy. He said, who did it? So he introduced me. And he said, you do it. This was the dream of Gandhi. I am a freedom fighter. After Gandhi, after the freedom, everybody got engaged in work. I had become a lawyer here. So good. So this is the beginning of this whole program. And now, I have not taken a single farthing as a donation, as a grant from anywhere. Not a single farthing. So much difficult for me. 500 rupees starting. The Buxar came, then 1,000. The government of Bihar gave circular. Now we are okay everywhere. So you have to earn money, but why will somebody give you work? If your work is not good quality, why somebody give you work? So this is very important I leave here because it's a long story. What I want to say here, to the boys and girls sitting in, if they are here, that you have to become a change maker. You have to make difference in the lives of the people. You have to make difference in sanitation, health, and other things of the country. So you will have to not only talk and talk. You will have to work, and that will make a difference in other people. So this is on this day of this, remember Dr. R.K. Sinha. What I say, now I just come back for 2 minutes more, that social reconstruction. This I want, that English literature should come forward. I wanted to deal it in English literature. But Dr. Prasad was our guide. So he said, no, I'm going to London, find out the books in library. So he came back and said, no, there's not enough materials to do it in English literature. Do it in sociology. So now the time has come that people who English literature should come forward and they should join hands for social reconstruction of this country. And they should join hands. What are written in the English literature to come forward? Just see, I'm showing you the BBC Horizon. Sulabh has been declared one of the 1,000 universities have been done. But Sulabh is declared one of the 5 universities of the world. So this is very important. This is very important. You are among 40 people, 50 people of the world. दुनिया के जो 7 अरब लोग हैं, उसमें 50 लोगों को एक मैगजीन है इकोनॉमिस्ट जिसने चुना है. और जैसा फोटो इधर से लीजिए सब. तो उसमें दुनिया के 7 अरब लोग हैं. उस 7 अरब में आप 50 चुना गया, जिसमें हिलरी क्लिंटन है, और बराक ओबामा है, 50 में एक आप हैं। तो ये बिहार का जो ये है काम आपका है कि 7 अरब में 50 और 50 में एक होना कितना कठिन काम है, आप सोच सकते हैं। लेकिन आप हो सकते हो, जो बैठे हुए उनके लिए है, आप ही के लिए कंक्लूड करें। अभी हम लोग पुरस्कार मिला जापान से, निके एशिया प्राइज। जापान ने कहा कि फला पर सब तो गया कि मनमोहन सिंह बोला है, ऐसा नहीं है। वो ये है कि ये प्राइज मिला शहर में ही मैंने क्या किया, इसको आप देखिए जैसा कि I clean toilets like a took on the head, went to discharge. It's 4 kilometers away from there, and did for 2 days, just to know the pains and feelings of the untouchables. Nobody has done in this world so far. Gandhi was a great person. I don't want to compare with him, but Gandhi also did not do like this, or killing that is. So this is very important, that I did for this. And also, because I am from in Patna, so I am telling you, this is also we have got. The I will de Blasio, Mayor of the City of New York, do hereby proclaim Thursday, April 14, 2016, the City of New York as Dr. Bindeshwar Day. So one day has to declare your name from New York, America. America has not given this prestige to anybody so far, any Indian. So this is very important, and those who come to Delhi, please come and see the campus. This is the only museum in the world, the toilet museum in the up till now. So now I conclude. I don't want to take your time. There's a video, I am working on video also. This is a young boy has made a video. So this is also, we are working. So this is what I want to, just to conclude, the Supreme Court of India asked us to do. Supreme Court has not given direction to any NGO so far. Supreme Court gives direction to central government or state governments, not to any particular society or organization, but the Supreme Court gives action in the Sula. This is a prestige you have got in society. So this is very important that you should do like this. So now I just conclude and say to the young boys and girls, I just read for you. That's it. I call upon the students sitting here to work hard, and the competition for them now is getting tougher and tougher every day. You have to prove your potential at the global level. You have to contribute a lot to the development of India and to earn a name for your department of university. You are not only the future of the nation, but the backbone of the present. I wish you all the best for your success. Now, just conclude. I am going to edit a book, Social Reconstruction in English Literature. So those who want to contribute an article to be published in that book, if please you can send your article, and we'll include here 3 months time for writing the article, and 3 months will take for publication. So after 6 months the book will come out. So within 3 months, if you want, the topic is Social Reconstruction in English Literature. So with these words, once again I pay my tributes to Sinha, and what is important that Dr. Pathak said, तो लोग आज को लोग याद नहीं करते, लेकिन हमको भी याद करते हुए चले गए। तो ये है कि हमारी जो संस्कृति है, इसको जो बचा के रखना है, तो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात है। अब इतने विजडम की बातें कही है दामोदर ठाकुर जी ने, उसको तो ग्रैप्स करते हैं। हमारे रिकॉर्ड सब हो रहा है हमारा, तो हम इसको जाके एक एक शब्द को सुनेंगे, फिर करेंगे, हार्ट के अंदर ले जाएंगे। इतने विजडम के शब्द कहे हैं, बातें कही हैं, हर आदमी इसको यदि अपनाए अपने लाइफ में, तो वास्तव में उसका तो सब खुल जाएगा, चारों तरफ खुल जाएगा, एक उसको रोशनी मिलेगी। जितनी बातें उन्होंने कही है उसको यदि कोई ठीक से सुने उसको तो जीवन बदल जाएगा। इसी शब्दों के साथ एक बार पुनः सब लोगों को धन्यवाद।
So Shankar Dutt for thinking of me and calling me here as a speaker. So let me, right in the beginning, sort of tell you that I have not been a student of Patna University. I am an outsider in that sense, and I never knew R.K. Sinha. I'd heard about him in Allahabad, and therefore I'm not exactly in a position to talk a lot about him. I'll take, and that will take me to the subject on which I'm going to talk. The man goes away, the stories remain. Legends are created, myths are created. Something of reality remains in them, and something is added in fiction. In fact, that is what makes it interesting. The mix of fact and fiction through which a person becomes a legendary figure, and the stories, how they recreate themselves over a period of time. I'll be talking about the pedagogy of stories. The pedagogy of stories actually is connected very deeply to something, which has been a concern for quite a while with us teachers of literature in universities. And here you see what comes to my mind is that we have to perhaps realize as teachers of literature what is so special about being a teacher of literature. How is communication in a literature class different from communication in some other discipline? It all depends on what we are wanting to communicate. Are we communicating ideas? Are we communicating concepts? Are we sharing experience? Are we looking at the external realities, the objective world? Are we exploring inner truths within ourselves? And here I was remembering a few things which many of you was connected with literature and need not be connected with literature would be correlating with, I'm sure. There are these lines from T.S. Eliot's Choruses from the Rock, which had come to my mind in connection with a talk that Shankar had given in Allahabad some time back, and which was on humanities and the crisis in humanities. And there it came to me, that when Eliot in the choruses said, "Where is the wisdom that we lost in knowledge? And where is the knowledge that we lost in information?" We are in an age of information. We are swamped by information. It's information technology. It's imparting of information. It's imbibing of information. It's writing of information in examinations. And in this, we have moved far away from knowledge and wisdom. As people who are involved with literature and literary studies, this is the furthest we can get, the furthest point from what we are supposed to be doing if we get lost in information. The other thing that also came to my mind was something from the Delphic Oracle, and here, my earlier speaker had also referred to this, but this is not, it was in the Indian context that was being referred to, but it's also there in the Delphic Oracle. It says, know thyself. Know yourself. The self is a very complex entity, and it cannot be simplified. We have tried to simplify the self, but it refuses simplification. In this context, I would try to bring in a thinker who has been, I think, neglected a lot. We talk of William Wordsworth, Shelley, Keats, all the Romantic poets, and I don't think we talk that much about William Blake. William Blake had said a few things which become particularly relevant in this context. He talked about the first poets, the prolifics, as he called them. The prolifics created a world in language. They gave language to the world. They created the gods in language. But what they created in language, the gods that they created, the world that they created, was a complex world which consisted of what Blake called contraries. Again, my earlier speaker spoke about contradictions when he was searching for the language, you see, which is required. I know, I do not know. These are contraries that exist, you see. I exist, I do not exist. Blake talked about the contraries, and he said that the contraries were together as identity in the world that was created. And out of that identity came the energy of the world and the word. But again, Eliot comes, humankind cannot bear too much truth. It's very difficult, you see, because when we are looking at complexities, contraries bound together as identity and energy, in the gods, in the world, in the word, it's very difficult for the second category that Blake talked of, the devourers. The devourers are the people, you see. Everybody is part of this devouring mechanism. They want to devour truth. The prolific poets, they created the food, but the food was difficult to digest by the devourers because it was too complex. And therefore, what Blake calls priesthood came into as mediatory between the poets and the devourers, between the prolifics and the devourers. And priesthood simplified the complexities of the contraries through what he called negation. When there was a contrary of good and evil, body, soul, these are contraries. One was negated at the cost of the other. the body was inferior, the soul was superior, good was better, evil is bad. This simplification through negation ultimately got bureaucratized into religion, doctrinaire, and priesthood assumed the power from the prolific poets. It's a complex thinking, and the reason why I brought this up particularly is that you see, as we move into the various disciplines of study over the centuries, you see, the tendency in each discipline is to break down the various elements of knowledge, take a certain line, a stream, move in that direction, like political thought, philosophical thought, and various other disciplines. It is only in the literary studies and literature as such, you see, as we understand literature to be, which I will define by and by, I'll go deeper into that, that we retain the complexity and try to communicate that complexity as it is, as energy and identity. What I mean here is that when we are trying to communicate something, is it an idea that we are trying to communicate? I'll give you one example. Long back, I read this essay by E.M. Foster. I think many of you might have read it. It's Notes on an English Character. Now, if somebody is asked to write an essay, notes on an Indian character, notes on an English character, notes on this. If it's an essay, we know that we are dealing with ideas. We'll try to sort of think, what's the Indian character? It is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's the British English character? 1, 2, 3, 4 is like this. Interestingly, Foster didn't do it. He started telling little stories. And out of these stories, certain things emerged which revealed the English character and also the Indian character, interestingly. And one of the stories is that two friends, one British, the other Indian, they meet, they spend their holidays together, and in the end of the holiday, when they are parting, the Indian is very emotional. And he says, "Oh my God, I'm going to miss you a lot." The Britisher is very matter of fact, stiff upper lip, typical. "Oh, come on, that's okay, we'll meet again. It was nice." So, and then the Britisher makes a comment. He says that you Indians, you are very weird. See, for small little things, you see, there's so much of emotion that you spill, entire bucketfuls of emotion. What will happen when actually the big ovation comes? You'll not have any emotion left. So, the Indian replies, and he says, "This is what you are, bankers." You see, because all you can think of is money that is spent and is gone, and then where is the money left for the big occasion, right? Now this is just a story. He's not saying that British character, English character 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but this story contains within itself, in its complexity, in its contraries, certain truths which will remain as those truths and which I am claiming is the main forte of literature as such. Based on this, you see, which is basically the theory, absolutely valid. Because the princes, you see, when they refused to learn, when they were being taught grammar, mathematics, you see, by the various tutors who were there, who were tutoring them. They said that they couldn't hear anything, they couldn't see anything, they couldn't speak. And the king was troubled about it, that what's going to happen to my children, you see, I mean, they are supposed to be the future kings. And if this is the situation, how do I get them educated? And that's the time, Vishnu Sharma came into the scene, somebody proposed his name, and he said, okay, no, there's nothing wrong with them. They're fine, they can see, they can hear, they can speak. Send them over to me. And what did he do? He told them stories. The Panchatantra. The stories, you see, which communicated statecraft, human emotions, life. And they didn't, without even realizing things, that they were being educated, that they were being taught, that they had examinations to give. They got educated. They became ideal kings when they grew up. This is the power of stories. Whether they are animal fables, whether they are human stories, whether they are divine stories. It's one of the most important things, you see, in communication, in literature and literary studies and literary teaching. I really don't know R.K. Sinha, what was his method of teaching in class. But I know this, you see, that there are other legendary figures, and I know, you see, because Allahabad University also happens to be an old university, and we have figures, who have become legends there as well. But there I know, you see, that most of them who have made themselves a name, you see, have made it because, you see, the way they communicated their ideas, the totality of that communication, where they were able to sort of, through the personality and the amalgamation of the ideas from within that personality, you see, emanating from it, you see, rather. The two combining together made the ideal combination, you see, which the students grasped not merely as concepts and ideas, you see, which were there, of course. The concepts and ideas were certainly there. But much more than that, you see, they imbibed an entire value system, an entire life itself, you see, got communicated in the process. So here, you see, I thought that we don't know where to place something like theatre in literary studies. It is both performing art as well as literature. And the reason why I took up performing arts is because of what is the oral tradition and the way the oral tradition moves. And here, we know, you see, that there are these stories which are there in myths, mythologies, Mahabharata, Ramayana, they contain so many stories. But what happens is, you see, that over a period of time, those stories change. And the change in those stories happens because of the performer, the performance, over a period of time. It depends on who is telling the story. It depends on what the context is, and it also depends when is the story being told. The same story, as it moves through the centuries, gets changed. And here too I'll just give one small example, and this is from a story by Mahashata Devi. It's a small little story. And this is a story when many years after the Mahabharata war was over, when Gandhari and Dhritarashtra decide to go for Vanavas. And when they're going for Vanavas, because Dhritarashtra is blind, and Gandhari has also literally become blind because she had folded her eyes for so many years. So they can't go alone. So Kunti decides to go with them. Kunti goes to the forest. She collects firewood, fruits, berries every day, brings it back. And every day when she goes out into the forest, she sits down quietly, meditates, confesses. She is a disturbed soul. And she is disturbed because of certain things in her life, of which the Karna episode is very, very important, and what happened to him. And when she does this, you see, there are these Nishadin women who come collecting firewood and things. They watch her every day. She also sees them, but there's no communication between them. And then one day, she notices that all the birds and animals are flying in a certain direction. And she's wondering why this is happening, when one of the Nishadin women comes and talks to her for the first time and says, "You are Kunti. You belong to the Rajavrit, I belong to the Lokavrit. And we don't understand each other. But every day we have been listening, we've been hearing, we have been able to understand what disturbs you. Strangely, you see, in our social cultural system, this is not even considered as something to be very disturbed about. It's very strange that you gave your son away like that, you see. I mean, you should have kept the child. A child is born out of love. It has to be celebrated, not, you don't be ashamed of it and throw the child away." And then she says, "But there is something about which you should be ashamed, but you've never once mentioned it." He said that once, when you were in the Lakshagriha, in hiding with your 5 sons, you invited a Nishadin woman with her 5 sons. And you held these parties in that Lakshagriha. And you gave them so much to drink that they were in a state of stupor. They couldn't get up. And you know what happened after that. And he said, "Not once have you confessed about it. That is something that you must confess about. You should." The reason is this entire consciousness about the Nagas being tribals. You see, who are being eliminated by Janmejaya. And Astika is telling Jaratkaru to go and stop what is happening. And at that time, you see, earlier, what had happened was, you see, when the Kandav forest was being burnt, when Arjun and Krishna are testing the Divya Astras and burning the forest. You see. At that time, so many species of butterflies, animals, deers, the rarest of rares, some became extinct. They just disappeared from the face of this earth. But in the Mahabharata text, it's a celebratory thing. But in Kolatkar's text, the environment, working class, Lohar. And their heads are cut, their heads get interchanged. And the question now is, who is who? Now this is from the Kathasarit Saga, this is from Vikram Vetal's story. Who is who now? The one with the head Is that going to determine the identity of the person or the one with the body? Now, interestingly, you see, when we were doing the play, the Bhagavad is supposed to ask this question to the audience when this happens, and tells the audience that okay, fine, interval, all of you go and have some tea, think about this question. Huh? Lunch now, not tea, right? I know, I can understand. That's a hint to me. So there is this, you see that? So come back after lunch and then we shall think performance text. I mean, I'm using theatre in a wider sense. I'm using it in a wider sense because this classroom also is a theatre. Any place is a theatre. Any room is a theatre, you see, because there is an interplay of ideas, an interplay of experiences that is taking place, you see, right there. So the entire thing gets complicated now. I mean, it is not the head. The head is a determining factor in a society which is Brahmanical. That is the time when, you see, even in the Katha Sagar, there is no problem with the answer. The problem to the answer comes now, today. Because we were talking about the untouchables, you see. Now here, this is the question, you see. So what about the body? Well, the lower you go, the lower castes come there. There's the head, which is the upper caste. Shoulders, the Kshatriyas. You go down, you see, it is the lower caste. And there you see, there Padmini touches Kapil's body. It is actually Devada's body with Kapil's head in heaven. And then Kapil's head has a strange thing to say. It says, my head should recognize this touch, but it doesn't recognize the touch. Because this touch was not there earlier. Because it was Devada's head which was there on Devada's body. Which means the body also has its memories. It's a total identity which is being talked of. Right? So here, I know, I mean, we are running short of time and the lunch break is close. So I'll stop here today. It is endless, you see.
Lectures. Sir, please do come. And sir, can you please conclude your speech in a few minutes because we are getting delayed for lunchtime.
That's more important. I think we are getting late, and the sooner I finish the better. So I beg your forgiveness right in the beginning. First, I am reminded of Henry Ford's statement. Sitting together is progress. Working together is achievement or success. I must congratulate and praise as far as possible the organizers of this cultural personal show. But I must first start with my one comment in paying obeisance to Dr. R.K. Sinha. Undoubtedly, he was one of the most profoundly interesting teachers I have been a student. He was fond of quoting lines, quoted from Keats, quoted from Wordsworth, quoted from Poe. And many a time he quoted these lines. Shut, shut the door, good John, fatigued I said. Shut, shut the door, good John, fatigued I said. Tie up the knocker, say I am sick, I am dead. I don't want to meet foolish people. I don't want to, not only to waste my time, but to waste my energy and waste my emotion. So I would like to meet them. Dr. Sinha used to refer to these lines quite often. I couldn't realize the depth of the meaning and the profundity of the reference right then. Later on, I could realize. So when I remember how he referred to Alexander Pope, now I remember Dr. Sinha was sounding like, see, once Einstein was questioned. Somebody asked him, well, doctor, you have been talking about infinities. What do you mean by infinities? Einstein said, there are two infinities. I believe. One is the expanding universe, number one, and the other is the human stupidity. I am not sure about the first. Universe might not be expanding, but human stupidity is expanding. And the entire question boils down to this: whether man is divine or bovine or beast, what is he? What type of a creature is he? There is one William James, a very famous one, psychologist. He said, man biologically speaking is the most ferocious of and formidable beasts of prey. And the more dangerous thing is that he is dead bent on liquidating his own species. This is what we have seen in the world. This continuation of stupidity, that is point number one. And then the second thing we have to realize is that this human creation has been right from the very beginning full of puzzles. Full of puzzles. Unbelievable. I was reading a poem by some satirist where he writes, क्या करामात है कुदरत का, क्या करामात है कुदरत का, जिंदा आदमी पानी में डूब जाता है और मुर्दा निश्चेष तैरता दिखता है. क्या कुदरत है? You can't give a final judgment on what man is. Maybe divine, or maybe a beast of prey. So क्या करामात है कुदरत का? जिंदा आदमी पानी में डूब जाता है और मुर्दा तैरता दिखता है. मैंने कभी मौत को देखा नहीं. मैंने कभी मौत को देखा नहीं, पर लगता है बड़ी खूबसूरत होगी. मैंने मौत को कभी देखा नहीं, पर लगता है बड़ी खूबसूरत होगी. कमबख्त जो उसे एक बार देख लेता है जीना छोड़ देता है. That has been happening, and it has happened all through, right from the beginning of the human history or human creation. If stories are there, this has been happening. And Dr. Thakur wonderfully talked about the contraries, and this is what it leads to. And even in Bhagavad Gita, whether man is good or bad, but the properties there which we have, सत्वम रजस तमस तथा, ये तीन गुण हैं, सात्विक राजसी तामसी. गीता से ये जो तीनों गुण, ये गुण है सत्वम रजस तमस तथा गुण इति गुण प्रकृति संभवा. We have inherited it. Humanity has inherited it. We can't pinpoint the time. We have inherited it. प्रकृति संभवा निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो, बांध लेते हैं. You can't escape them. Nobody can escape them. Be he a superman or an ordinary man. Everybody, history judges, sometimes holds you responsible, sometimes doesn't. So, निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो, ये सबको बांध लेते हैं, and it's very difficult to escape. So man has been one of the most stupid creations, and this goes on back Srimad Bhagavad. There's the story, it's a wonderful one. The earth has been, the mother earth is talking about humanity. Talking exactly as Einstein talked about. You just realize the point of similarity, or at least the total similarity. The tone is nearly the same. She is talking about the stupidity of humanity. And she says, look here. Drishtva Atmanijay, this Mother Earth, finds that there are people who want to conquer the world, conquer the earth. सब कोई सिकंदर बनना चाहता है. Conquer the world. दृष्ट्वा आत्मनिजय व्यग्राम नृपाम, mad kings, mad monarchs, mad warriors. आत्मनिजय हसति भूरियम, भूरी कहते हैं पृथ्वी को. Mother Earth laughs sarcastically. Look here. These people who are not going to live, they want to rule over me, they want to conquer the earth. So, Dishwa Atmanijaya Vigram Nipan Hasit Bhuriyam, Oho Maam Vijigishanti, वो मुझे जीतना चाहते हैं. And who are they? मृत्यो क्रियंका नृपा. ये जो राजा जितने हैं ना, they are all subject to death. They'll die very soon. They'll die very soon. And in the context of eternity, 100 years or 200 years doesn't matter at all. So, Hasati Bhuriyam, because they want to conquer me, and therefore she says, and what do they say? What do these kings say? Mai eva mahi Krishna. मेरी भूमि मही कृष्णा, पूरी भूमि मेरी है. I will conquer the whole world. मई एव मही कृष्णा, ये सारी 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 भूमि मेरी है. तो रिजल्ट इज द मदर अर्थ सेज अस्पर्धमाना मिथो भ्रांति म्रियन्ते च मत्कृते नृपा. They are competitive, competing with each other. Aspardhamana, they are murderously competitive. Not only foolishly, murderously competitive. Aspardhamana mitho granti. बिना वजह के लोगों को मार रहे हैं, killing unnecessarily, mriyan nature, and also getting killed, mat krite nirpa. And then ultimately she says, Kathavashesha. Ultimately only their story will be there, might be, their story will be there, not they in reality. Kathavashesha. Kalena hektartha kritarvu. Time, the most powerful element, has made them useless, has made them futile. So it is this stupidity of the human race that was time and again pointed out and referred to by Dr. Sinha. Seems to be one of the most everlasting thread as far as the human reality is concerned. And finally, I'll end again with a few lines from one of the world's greatest poets, greatest in the sense in India. He's talking about world war. Why should man kill man? Why should he? It applies as well to Pakistan as to India, to Putin as well as to Donald Trump, to all. Why should it be so? He says, खून अपनों का बहे या औरों का, खून अपनों का बहे या औरों का, नस्ले आदम का खून है आखिर. खून अपनों का बहे या औरों का, नस्ले आदम का खून है आखिर. जंग मशरिक में हो या मशरिक में, whether there is the battle or any kind of battle, you might have been watching the Syrian refugees, the Rohingyas, and all of them. So, jang mashriq mein ho ya maghrib mein, whether the fight takes place in the west or in the east, amne alam ka khoon hai aakhir. Then he says, are we so foolish? बर्तरी की सबूत की खातिर खून बहाना क्या जरूरी है? To show your strength, we might be reading every day. Combined armed forces of different countries having their military exercise, naval exercise, aerial exercise. तो बर्तरी की सबूत की खातिर, just to show your superiority, बर्तरी superiority, बर्तरी की सबूत की खातिर खून बहाना क्या जरूरी है? घर की तारीकियां मिटाने को घर जलाना क्या जरूरी है? If your house is in darkness, would you set fire to your house and see light for some time, and then the house gets burnt to ashes? तो घर की तारीकियां मिटाने को घर जलाना क्या जरूरी है? That is the final question we have to keep in our mind. Are we good, divine, or basically stupid? Lunch is more important.
To the dais, who is the chairman of the program and head of the Department of English, Patna University. He has been honored with the Best Teacher Award by Patna University. And in the field of English literary criticism and in new literary theories in English, he has recognition on the global level. Please welcome.
Good friend and somebody who was always so encouraging. Senior teachers, guests, my very, very dear students, faculty, and ladies and gentlemen. One of the things that we experience while being in Patna University today is different from what Dr. Sinha must have experienced in his own time. When Dr. Sinha was in the Department of English, people came to Patna. While we are around, people move away from this city. Patna has been in a state of transit for many decades. I wish to recall two very small anecdotes before I talk about some other things. The first is associated with how destinies have very, very strange destinations for people. And in that sense, today that I stand before you, today that I belong to the Department of English, Patna University, a department that I love so much, has in many ways crafted tangentially by Dr. Sinha. There was a family friend we had. My family comes largely from a family of educationists. And this gentleman, a person by the name of Professor Amalendu Bose, was a very close friend of Dr. Sinha. When I finished my masters from Delhi University, I got two simultaneous appointments. One was an appointment for 3 months against a leave vacancy in a place called Bindeshwar College, and the other was in Patna University. Professor Amalendu Bose jumped into decision making, and he said, let him not teach in an upstart university, he has to go to Radha's department. And that was it. The other small anecdote that I remember is many years ago, I had met Dr. Bindeshwar Pathak at a party. His elder daughter happened to be a student, and I asked him, why is it that you've put your daughter in Patna College, not Patna Women's College? And he answered, I would like my daughter to compete with everybody right across the spectrum. I wouldn't like my daughter to live in isolation. That told a story that we have tried to pursue over the years and more purposefully in the last few months. What our students need today is exposure to the outside world. Otherwise, we stay completely cocooned, completely isolated, and we do not know what is happening in the world outside. Very frequently and very egotistically believing we are doing great things when we are actually 30 years behind where the world is. And that is why it is so important that a function such as today's is being held, where all our young minds, they are exposed to different set of ideas that have flowed in from the various speakers who have spoken. The sharing of ideas marks the beginning of dialogue. It marks the beginning first of being informed and later to become producers of knowledge, and then finally acquiring wisdom. And that is what is so essential. English studies today is probably one of the most significant subjects known to the world, although its respect has declined. And one of the reasons why it has declined is largely because after, in the post-WTO situation that we find ourselves in, subjects that generate wealth, they need not improve necessarily the quality of life, although they do in many ways, in material sorts of ways. But subjects such as English or the other disciplines within the humanities, these are subjects that enrich the soul. These are subjects that give us certain choices that we can make in life, improves the quality of life. Today, what we have is an overbearing emphasis and a prioritization of the STEM subjects: science, technology, engineering, math. And that is happening globally. But if you view the world at a point in time when the humanities were respected, and you view the world today where the humanities are low down in the order of priorities, I would like to ask one question: has the world improved or has it deteriorated? When we look at the newspapers every morning, what are the stories that confront us? The stories that confront us are associated with violence. They confront us with human horrors. What the world lacks is empathy. And that is exactly what English studies, or for that matter, literature, in any language provides for us. That's what philosophy provides to us. So if we have to make this world a better place, a place that we would be remembered for as a civilization, then I suggest we develop a certain kind of an empathy through the studies in the humanities, because that is ultimately what is going to sustain this world. Science, technology, we have seen how its misused has ruined human beings, ruined the world. So therefore, one of the things that I appeal to everybody, and I've been doing this for the last 6 months, going across to various universities and talking about either the crisis in the humanities, and at Allahabad, a very senior professor, and a person I admire immensely, he said, the problem is not with the humanities, the problem is with the human being. But the problem is, again, that the humanities, the study of humanities, can make human beings. And that is precisely why, if you remember, the then UGC chairman, Professor Yashpal, had, in his rejuvenation of higher education, had spoken about the necessity of the studies in humanities and social sciences right across the universities, because public sphere leaders emerge from these, if they were to emerge from these disciplines, they would be sensitive to the needs of the people they serve. And that is precisely why the IITs and the NITs, they have departments of humanities and social sciences. Strangely, one particular field that does much for human beings, for healthcare, medical colleges, they do not have departments of humanities. And that is an irony. To talk about a little bit about the Department of English. We have inherited a wonderful legacy. A legacy that has been handed down to us by a person of the eminence of Dr. R.K. Sinha. It is a challenge and a burden. More of a challenge as we look at it. What we are happy about is, and things that not many people know about, is possibly there are many areas in English studies that Patna University, for example, was the first to introduce. One of those, you'll be very happy to hear, Padma Shri Bindeshwar Pathak, is Dalit Studies. This has been a part of our core syllabus now for 15 years. So what we try to do is, I know Marxism is dead in the world, but I think in many parts of India there are wonderful Marxists. People study only to get marks in the examinations. This needs to change. We need critical thinking. Encourage critical thinking. Because it's only through critical thinking, when we look at how the other defines the self, it is only then that we can acquire a certain sensitivity and empathy. Without that empathy, we will still follow the kind of binaries that Western epistemology and ontology has given unto us through a great man called Aristotle, whose whole idea of the laws of identity, the laws of non-contradiction, and the laws of the excluded middle has created oppressive structures for us. We need to break down those binaries. We need a certain kind of a fluidity between opposites, between contraries that we have been talking about, between, let us say, those that are upper caste and those that do not even feature in the Varn Vyavastha or the Jati Pratha. We need a completely different outlook to dealing with different genders. We need a different outlook to deal with different nationalities. Because at the end of the day, what we are and what we'll be defined by is, have we been human? And to be human does not mean focusing only on human beings. It also means that we focus on equitably to the non-human world. Those of us who believe will remember that everything that exists in the world has been created by God, and the ultimate spirituality is to recognize the sacredness of all creation. And if we do, how do we discriminate? Those that are non-believers will also possibly remember the fact that we all exist in the world, everything is possibly material, but everything across the board that is even material has a certain value, and we should do nothing to devalue that. As Dr. J.P. Singh concluded his address by saying, there are more important things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than have been thought of in his philosophy. I think everybody has some stimuli working in the middle of the body, and everybody is waiting for lunch. I will not disappoint anybody. Thank you for your patience.
I feel extremely privileged to propose the vote of thanks on this solemn and august occasion. I express our deep gratitude to all dignitaries present today and all members of this audience whose presence has made this function a memorable occasion. We are deeply indebted to our chief guest, Padma Bhushan Dr. Bindeshwar Pathak, for his esteemed presence, his words of wisdom, and his constant support, without which such a function would not be easy to organize. We are extremely grateful to Dr. Rash Bihari Prasad Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Patna University, for gracing this occasion. I extend our deep sense of gratitude to our esteemed speakers, Dr. Damodar Thakur and Dr. Sanjoy Datta Roy, for their enlightening lectures which have enriched us with their information, knowledge and wisdom. I thank our guests of honor, Dr. J.P. Singh, former Vice Chancellor, LNMU, Darbhanga, and Dr. Avdesh Kumar Sharma, retired Professor of English and editor, Sulabh India, for their inspiring presence and intellectually invigorating speeches. We are deeply and specially thankful to the chairperson of this function,